The music industry is still a boys' club, but women are winning big. And in hip-hop, it's never been a better time than now for female artists. But is it their image or their art that's earning them fans? Cardi B's mega hit Bodak Yellow put her at the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 chart this week. The first time a solo female rapper can make that claim since Lauryn Hill with Doo-Wop That Thing in 1998. No question, it's a big milestone, says Page 6 TV's Bevy Smith.
Cardi B came up the hardscrabble way, you know what I mean? Like, she's a former stripper, she's a reality show person, and now all of a sudden she's topping the charts. We've never really seen that before, so kudos to her.
Cardi B! Cardi B got a big co-sign from superstar rapper Remy Ma, who organized a show of sisterhood on the Summer Jam stage. Cardi stood side by side with the biggest female names in the game, including Queen Latifah in a show of Untitled. Say what? Latifah continues to make big moves, like her new hit Fox series Star, but she always remembers her roots. I caught up with her backstage at Summer Jam. And this was like a huge homecoming for you.
Of course, it's always good to be back in Jersey, you know. This is where I started and this is where I end. So it's nice to like check in with the hip-hop audience, make sure y'all watch Star.
Does this greater diversity mean more opportunity for women? Let's find out what our panel has to say. Joining me is the one and only TT Torres, Hot 97 on-air personality and music director. She's also a multimedia personality. TT, great to have you on.
Hi, thanks for having me, Lisa.
Awesome to have you with us on this. Also with us is Soumya Krishnamurthy. She's a hip-hop journalist and pop culture expert. Soumya, great to have you on.
Hey there.
And also with us is Rhapsody. She's a hip-hop artist. She is the one who has that album that everyone is talking about right now, Layla's Wisdom. Rhapsody, great to have you on.
Oh, pleasure to be here.
TT, I want to start with you on this because you're close to a lot of the artists. You deal with them every day on a daily basis. The whole idea now of women, we're looking at it in a very different way. There's no longer that question that dogged us for so many years of, will they be taken seriously? What do you think's going on?
First of all, I love your album. I just want to tell Rhapsody.
All right, good.
I love the album.
Thank you.
Actually, I've been trying to like connect with you for a while, so I'm glad that you're here today because the album is amazing. I think what's going on is that women are now being taken serious. I mean, hip hop has beat out rock. It has beat out so many genres of music as that top #1 music platform and what people want to listen to. And then I think with the success of what Remy Ma did when she came home from prison, the successful rap battle that she won, on top of the epic Summer Jam performance with Queen Latifah, Cardi B, I could go on and on and on. I mean, the Lady of Rage. It was so many iconic females on that lineup. It just kind of opened up this wave of female artists to just say, yeah, I'm here, I got bars, I can rap, I don't always have to be about sex appeal and this and that. And it just reignited the women in hip hop. It's just an exciting feeling to have right now.
It's like everybody, there was that sense of like, yeah, we can do it. We can really do it.
And we can spit bars as equal, if not better, than a man.
Exactly. Speaking of which, Rhapsody, there's been a lot of compliments for you on the new album, a lot of positive commentary and anticipation as well. What do you think about what TT just said?
Man, I think she's right on. If anything, I think we've always known we could do it. It's just we did it before in the 90s. Just, getting people to notice again. Like, where have the females been? Why don't we see them in the forefront? Why aren't they on our radio and our TV stations? Because we've always been working for years and years underground. Like, we went nowhere, but the focus shifted and it became really an all-male game. So, I'm excited about this new wave, this new energy, all these, up-and-coming artists, and the legends too. So, it's just really an exciting time.
Soumya, are there certain factors, social factors, cultural factors that are going on right now that make this the right time for female artists when they had such a rough time in the past?
I think the big thing for female artists was there needed to be a male cosign. So either a mentor or someone jumping on the track with you to give you that legitimacy, almost ushering you into the room. What's so great with Cardi B is with Bodak Yellow, she's the second female rapper to be at the #1 spot unaccompanied. And the last person to do that was Lauryn Hill in '98. So, for Cardi B to be at the #1 spot since 98. I mean, that's a very long time, and kind of in between there were successful females, but they weren't unaccompanied tracks. So I think what's really interesting with her story is a female artist who in many ways is doing it on her own. I think that's why her story is so exciting and hopefully speaks to like this larger trend of women in hip hop.
And Rhapsody, what about for you? Because in terms of your identity, one of the things your fans love about you is your authenticity. You've stayed true to your voice. Your stories are very personal. And, you know, you spit bars as good as any guy. I mean, there's no question about that. But has this impacted you, other artists, what you've seen other female artists doing throughout the years?
Yeah, I draw inspiration, I think, from everybody, men and women, and, you know, just the idea of women needing a cosign. I always thought that was like a double standard, because you hear it a lot, like women do need this cosign, but I think like every guy I know that has reached that plateau had a cosign as well. Jay-Z had Big Daddy Kane, Kendrick Lamar had Snoop Dogg, and, you know, all of the West Coast, the whole West Coast.
The whole West Coast, right?
Right.
Yeah.
J. Cole has Jay-Z. Like, if you think about it, it's like, so why are we separated to need a cosign when everybody has a cosign? If your music is good and it reaches that level, it's only natural for someone up in the top tier to notice and be like, yo, I rock with you. Yeah. So, you know, but yeah, it's inspiring to see Cardi B reach #1. Like, I champion her. Like, I love her spirit and her personality. It's dope to see Nicki doing what she's doing. You have Ill Camille in the West. You have No Name Gypsy in Chicago. Like, there are so many females coming up. Dreezy in Detroit, or is it Chicago? Detroit. So, you know, it's inspiring. You know, I get uplifted, like, to see, like, yo, don't get discouraged. Like, there really is a movement. There's a sisterhood. This idea that there can only be one at a time, and we have to fight against each other for this single spot. That's a false narrative.
And
like,
I think there was a big wake up call about that at Hot 97's at our own summer jam, when Remy Ma took the initiative to call all these female artists up. People were telling me that she was calling them over the Memorial Day weekend.
She was.
Brought them together. TT, tell us about that, because you were involved in that.
Yeah, I definitely was involved in you know, helping her, you know, just organize. But it was her concept. It was her idea, her concept. It was something she wanted to do for the culture, because, you know, when she was locked up in prison, and not to tell her story because this is her story to tell on her own, she would, you know, listen to the radio and just wonder, like, you know, what's going on? Like, why isn't there multiple females doing this? Like, are you serious? And so when she came out, you know, she wanted to just express how she felt, and she wanted people to see unity among women in the rap industry and understand that, you know, we can come together, we can coexist and all be at the top and all be successful and all make a lot of money, and also pay homage to people that have done it before us, like Queen Latifah, who has set so many incredible records on her own in terms of Hollywood, and just taking the rap game to a level that some people couldn't even imagine it going. So, you know, that unity on stage was very important to her, but most importantly, it was something that she really wanted the young generation to see and understand, and to be inspired by that. That
this is a new day in a new way, and it's the way is wide open for women.
Right, and if you are a female rapper who if you're in your hood or whatever, wherever you at, and you have dreams of one day becoming a female rapper, you too can do this and not be discouraged by it.
Yeah, and I love that message. This is Street Soldiers. I'm your host, Lisa Evers. We're talking about women winning in the music industry. We'll be back right after this.
And now that's the narrative. Like, if you don't have your boobs out, you're not gonna sell.
Let's talk about sexism. TT, you're a music industry executive at the original hip hop station in the United States. Have you seen changes just in your career?
In terms of
sexism, in terms of where you're taken serious. Did you ever encounter not being taken as seriously as a man, or being questioned for an extra?
I mean, I think that comes with the territory, unfortunately. You know, when you're dealing with men, of course, you know, it's a natural gravitation, right? And then after a while, after you kind of set the tone on what type of business you're in, I think you just naturally come off like, I don't play that.
So I mean, what about the sexism? Because we've seen stories too where, you know, female, and there's current stories going on right now, not just in hip hop and R&B, but also pop music, where female artists have had problems because of male quote unquote mentors and that type of thing, and always being approached sexually as opposed for their talent. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you know, I think unfortunately it's alive and well. And we see this not just in hip hop, you know, it's in media, it's in politics, it really permeates the culture of America. And, you know, it's funny because I think for women, especially when you start out in the industry, you have to prove your worth. Whereas I think if a man walks in the room, same age, same qualifications, you more have to do something to disprove your worth. And, you know, I think even when I started in the industry, one of my first internships, I would wear a business suit because I had another job before I walked in. That didn't stop guys from hitting on me, from other interns to executives, managers. And, you know, sometimes it's overt and other times it's done backdoor. We should totally grab dinner to talk about your career.
Right.
Or I'd love to mentor you at 3 a.m. at my house. You know, so I think for
you kind of
women,
learn.
You kind of learn. And I think, you know, at least at this panel, all of us have been very lucky to have long careers and established ourselves. So in that way, we may be sort of removed where people do take us seriously. But for me, I always want to be mindful of that young girl who's an intern or maybe an artist, someone who may not have the leverage to say no or to push back or to speak out. And, you know, I think we have a lot of strides to go insofar as sexism.
And so what Rhapsody, what about that? Because your manager is the legendary Ninth Wonder. You're with Rock Nation. You have that infrastructure around you. But as you're starting out, as you were just making your first moves in the industry, as a beautiful young woman, did you have those kinds of experiences? Or maybe you share some knowledge for some of the ladies listening now and the girls?
I think I've experienced it in small amounts, or I've seen it for other people, but Ninth has been with me since day one, since I first started recording my first 2 records. So in a sense, I was protected a lot. But, you know, before I got to Ninth, I remember I was looking for a manager, and I went to a guy, and you know, I had on work clothes. I was working at Foot Action, and he was like, you know, we could do something with you. Put some heels on and a skirt. I was just like, nah. And I went to the studio to see Ninth. You know, right after that.
We could put some heels.
You know,
But that is usually a euphemism for something else.
But
Yes.
that does
manage
exist,
you.
though,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
But it exists because they think if, you know, men don't want to, as an artist, sometimes, you know, record labels and industry insiders feel, not everybody, that if you're not sexy enough, or if you don't sell sex, or if men don't want to quote unquote have sex with you, then you can't sell albums.
Right.
Or you can't, you know, be among the masses because you don't have that sex appeal. It has to
Right.
be that you know, that 1 foot in, you know.
exactly.
Well,
What
women
about-
are
what
still
about that?
judged by their appearance. And again, this isn't just relegated to hip hop, but I think with women, it's always, whether you're an artist, an executive, a journalist, a broadcaster, the first thing they say is, wow, she's like really pretty.
Right. Or you look good, why aren't you wearing heels?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably been my biggest thing I had to fight through. Like, I look at other MCs in the game who are not female, and I see they're judged solely on their skill. And I have a song on the album called Black and Ugly dedicated to that. I remember coming up and, you know, oh, she's not attractive, or oh, she's ugly, or somebody's like, yo, check out Rhapsody, and the guy replies, what does she look like? And it's like, what does that have to do with the music? You know, that's been like one of the biggest hurdles. So I don't know when it changed. It felt like it was like a post-Lauryn type thing, because if we think about when you had Roxanne Shante, MC Lyte, Queen, Foxy, and Kim, like they all were different. They all didn't put sex in the forefront, but they all coexisted together. And somewhere like after 98, 99, things became video vixen. And it's amazing, like, you know, and now that's the narrative. Like if you don't have your boobs out, you're not gonna sell.
Hey guys, your girl Remy Ma, and you are watching Lisa Evans on Street Soldiers.
Rhapsody, do you feel as an artist that it's even wrong for us to say female artist, the way we would say like he's a Latino hip hop artist? Like Fat Joe always said, yeah, I want to be known as a hip hop artist who happens to be Latino, or who is Latino, as opposed to that being the definer or the category that you're put in. Or do you think that's inevitable?
It's a weird topic for me. And overall, I don't like the term female artist or female MC, only because I feel like the connotation has changed today, and it's used to box you in and separate you and say you're less than, and you know, this is the circle that you belong in with the ladies. Anything else, you're not supposed to compete with the guys. You know, when we have year-end list of best mixtape, we're gonna put you on the female, you know, releases. When, you know, I remember, you know, I've always kind of felt like that since I've been in, but I remember growing up, like, it was a thing to be a female artist. It meant power. Like, there was this respect that came with it. And I remember I went to a Black Girls Rock event. It was myself, MC Lyte, Lauryn Hill, Mumu, and the singer from DC. And in that space, I didn't mind it because it felt like it was a sisterhood, and it was something that was powerful. I didn't feel like I was less than. But it, you know, when I think about the music business, I hate it. You know, I see how people use it. You know, even with this latest album, I hear people talking about, oh, you're one of the best female MCs. Well, where do I stand in your whole idea of MCs,
in your whole universe of MCs,
right,
period, end
right.
of story, just based on the lyrics and
right.
just based on what you're doing.
So I would love to see it, you know, turn into something more powerful and less separated, you know, amongst artists.
All right, well, hopefully we'll be at that point, and we'll be doing a show about that. That's changed.
And what's interesting is, you know, for a long time, like, white rappers faced that, white male rappers, where
right.
they would say, no, I have bars, don't put me in this category. And I think we can all agree now, with the success of Eminem and Macklemore and all these artists, that we've moved away from that. So now it's, oh, you're just a great artist, you're a great rapper, you can be on this list. And to your point, Rhapsody, you're right, like, a female rapper or artist is just a rapper or an artist and should be celebrated and judged as such.
And hopefully we'll get to that point. Let's talk about Cardi B for a moment, because this is a historic achievement for her to be #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and knock out Taylor Swift, who is apparently the biggest earner.
Big sliced bread, right?
I mean, just like the TT. What about her? What about that song? What about Bodak Yellow that just got people?
Bodak Yellow is just a massive hit. It's just nothing else. It's nothing more you could say. It's just a hit record. And when you have a hit record that just touches people in a way, that's what you're gonna get. And Bodak Yellow was just a massive hit with everybody. It was a social media phenom. The song everybody would post up. It was just a massive hit. There's nothing more I could say about it.
It just hit a nerve and went there. So, what do you think about it? Because, and also, how much of Cardi's personality and people knowing her personality have to do with it, do you think?
It's huge. I think with Cardi B, the song is an infectious hit, but I think her personality is what really gets people. And I think right now it's Cardi B season, and every single person's talking about her. The song success, I've seen Miley Cyrus shouting her out. Taylor Swift sent her a bouquet to congratulate her. I mean, very rarely when you get dethroned do you send the person a bouquet.
But that to me is like people jumping on a wave. Like, that's like the whole Taylor Swift.
But
I think the fact her personality garners a wave speaks to it, because every rapper doesn't get that. Some artists, you are your song, period. And once that song runs its rotation,
but to somebody
no one cares.
like Taylor Swift, she kind of wants that attention. Like, she sending her flowers gives Taylor Swift more attention and more credibility.
I'm the queen, and I'm going to let you have the throne for one day, like
in
that.
In the hip-hop world.
In the hip-hop world.
The thing is, Nicki shouted her out. Look, I mean, at the end of the day,
Remy did too.
Conspiracy theorists, but I do think with Cardi, there is something about her authenticity and honesty that really touches people in a way that, you know, most artists, you don't get that. You can have a hit record, #1 streaming, but as an artist, I don't want to hang out with you. Cardi B is someone that you want to get a beer with, and I think that's something that's very powerful and authentic to her.
What up, Young and May here, man. You watching my girl Lisa Evers on Street Soldiers. You know it's all love, baby. I love her. Young and May, let's get it.
Well, I want to thank all of you for being with us for this episode of Street Soldiers. Hot 97's TT Torres, Soumya Krishnamurthy, hip-hop journalist and pop culture expert, and also hip-hop artist Rhapsody. Her latest album is Layla's Wisdom. Thank you so much for being with us for this episode. Thank you for joining us. Remember, use your mind. It's your best weapon. I hope it's your only weapon. I'm Lisa Evers. Let's push for peace.